Hi, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. For this video I'm going to do a sketchbook tour of this Royal Talens sketchbook. I love the sketchbook. I say that in every sketchbook tour that I do, and I always go, that's my favourite sketchbook. But I think that's because it's my newest finished sketchbook. I obviously can see the progression that I do. It doesn't mean I don't love the other sketchbooks, I do, but this one is definitely one of my favourite ones. I've done a lot of some of my favourite sketches to date in this sketchbook. That was a little bit of a ramble start, so I do apologise. So I'll get going. So as I said, this is the Royal Talens sketchbook, and I've done this, I didn't put the date in October, but this is from October 2023 to the 17th of January 2024. I love this size sketchbook. I've got two more, so I'm going to make a start on one of them. And yeah, at first I was a bit like, oh, I'm not sure on the size, but now I do really like the size. I've worked a lot in this sketchbook, and I think this is why it's my favourite one, because I absolutely have been loving working on these textured backgrounds, and I think this has become my favourite thing to do, and it seems to suit what I want to do, where I'm going, and I've discovered that within this sketchbook and the Pith one, which I will get to when I finish that one. I'll obviously do a sketchbook tour on that one, but yeah, I've really discovered my joy in using these textured backgrounds to then work on top of and create a lot of texture in my work. How many times can you say texture in a video? So I think that's one of the reasons again why I really love this sketchbook. So this is the first thing I did in it, which is just the back of a witch with its cat on this textured background. A landscape. I love this landscape with the trees. This is carrying on from, I think the last sketchbook tour maybe was my small Pith sketchbook, or it could have been the larger Royal Talens one, but this is carrying on with the landscapes that I was doing, but this is on a textured background, and lots of different mixed media in here. Loved doing these landscapes. I've got a lot of pieces of paper in here because I don't fix, I think I've said this before, I don't have any fixative to fix down pastels or oil pastels, etc. And obviously if I'm working in them, I don't really want anything to transfer across and spoil the sketch that I've done, so I put little pieces of paper in between. Now at the start of the sketchbook I was doing the texture backgrounds back to back, so straight on, but as I've gone on I've left pages in between because I didn't want things to seep through, such as inks, etc. This is just a landscape close up, got the moon, bit of I think this is acrylic gouache on top, various mixed media, potentially Inktense pencils. Love that. This one, I'm not keen on this. I like the concept and idea of it, and I think I'm going to revisit this at some other point. I love the moon up here. I love the colour actually, but I didn't like how this turned out or the landscape. But I like the idea of it, so it's an idea to revisit. And that's why I like looking through the sketchbooks, because then you can say, oh, yeah, I didn't like it at the time, so I thought, oh, this is really rubbish. I'm not keen on this at all at the time I did it. And looking back on it, there's elements I like and elements I can take forward. I do quite like the composition as well, but it just didn't work out the way I planned. I think this was pen and ink on top, and it just didn't go the way I wanted it to go. Another landscape. I like this type of moon, quite snowy. This was just oil, well that wasn't oil pastel, but other trees and that were all oil pastel. The neo pastels that I've got. Then I've got, I love, this is one of the first ones that I did with an animal. I love the colour. So I love the colour scheme, the colour palette even together. I love the fox, the trees. Just I really like that as a winter scene. I do love this. I love the texture as well that I've got here. I'm going to do a video on these texture backgrounds, which may be the next video that I do, I'll see. And then this is one of my favourites. I loved this polar bear so much. I love it. I love the pink. I love pink winter scenes. This was my first attempt at doing a polar bear as well. I think it was the first attempt. Yes, it was. And I just love how it turned out. I love how it sort of camouflaged against the snow. And yeah, I love that. It's one of my favourite ones in this sketchbook. That was just a textured background. Don't think I did anything with that. Another fox, another white fox. I love this. Again, like a blue. This is obviously using that blue colour palette for winter, but working on top. When I've been doing these texture backgrounds, I've tended to maybe look at the colour. I don't always work from like front to back with them. I might go back and forth because I'll get inspired by the texture. I might see a shape in there I want to use, or I like the colour palette that I've used, or I suddenly think, oh, I really want to do a white fox winter scene, and I'll pick the best one to do that on. And yeah, I just love this, how this one turned out. I love the fox. And this is where I started to leave pages in between just in case. And as I've said, with the pages in between, I do sometimes just scribble with test out materials in between, you know, to see whether it's the right colour or if it's the one that I want to use, etc. So this, I did a live call. I joined Frances Ives. I'm a patron of Frances Ives, and I joined one of her live Patreon calls where it was her first one that she's done, and we joined the call and we were looking at it. You do time drawings. She picked some photos and pictures, etc., and we were doing time drawings from these. This was a complete disaster. I can't even remember what it was. I don't think I was very well prepared for the live call. I don't think I'd looked at the pictures beforehand, which I should have done. So when I do these again, I found this really useful to do, and I would love to join more, but obviously it depends what time they're on, etc. But next time I will definitely look at the pictures beforehand so I can get some materials ready. So I was just kind of grabbing stuff I was going, and it was just, this one was a complete disaster. I can't remember, I think that was gouache. That was a total disaster. Let's look at the next one. Oh, I do like the last one. I can't remember how many minutes we had to do this, but it was obviously somebody, I think this is Kew Gardens, could be wrong, but it was a picture of somebody obviously sat on a bench, etc. Again, just a timed drawing exercise, which is found it really useful to do. And maybe actually I probably should set myself a time drawing challenge. Maybe that's a video I could do on here. So there was all sorts on here, lots of ink, pencil. I do like how, you know, it turned out. It's okay. That one was another disaster. That was a complete disaster. No, yeah, somebody sat down on the grass, light streaming through the trees. Yeah, just that one wasn't good at all. The next one, I do like this a lot. So lots of foliage and trees, and then like a pond, large pond, reflections. Do like how, I really like how this one turned out. I can't remember how long they were. Maybe next time I'll write down how many minutes we had to sketch. So yeah, I learned a lot from doing that. I think it's a very good exercise to do, and like I say, I think it's something I should do more of, just myself, timing myself. Really makes you think about what you're doing, about marks you're putting down. Just a basic landscape again. I love the muted colour palette. These were ink. I can't remember what ink. I think it's a Sailor ink. It's a really nice colour palette. I love that moon again. I want to get the moon a bit better when I do that. Another animal. I've been doing a lot of animal drawings in here because I want to get better at them, or practice them, or continually sketch them, you know. So there's a lot of animals in here, a rabbit being one of them for here, with these trees. Again, very warm autumnal colour palette, little mushrooms. These are all lots of mixed media, so there's all sorts of things on here, like Molitor markers, pencils, probably a bit of neo pastels, etc. All sorts of things. This one, I love this page. This is where I've discovered I quite like multi-page, something on there. Multi-page sketches. And yeah, I just love these owls. They worked really well. I was so happy with them when I did them. I just love the colour palette across all of them, and the texture in the background. Yeah, I love doing these multi-page sketches, and I would recommend. I've done that video on the robins that I did, which is in the sketchbook, and I would really recommend giving them a go. It's nice to get to just mix different compositions up on one page as well. Here's some robins. I really enjoy doing robins. Did I show this one on Instagram? I can't remember. I love the robins. I don't like this branch here. I can't remember if I said that, if I showed it on Instagram, that I didn't like this branch. I think, you know, as well, I've discovered they were a very specific brown colour, a robin. Would it even, it's like a taupe type of brown, but I don't have that shade of brown, so trying to get that shade of brown is quite interesting, trying to achieve that with the colours that I've got. And I think here I've managed to achieve it, maybe a little bit there, but it's quite a specific brown colour for a robin. And yeah, I do love these on the pink background. And there's another robin. Not as keen on this one. I think it's its beak, but I do love the branch and the way it's sat. Lots of texture to it again. Two little hedgehogs. I think I ended up doing hedgehogs because I think there was a bit of a round, it was either on here or this side, it's the way that it had worked, there was like a round patch that I was like, oh, that could be made into a hedgehog, which I then made into a hedgehog. And yeah, I think they look quite cute. And this one's face is probably better than this one, but I do like them, they look really cute. This is where I was saying about bleed through. So on here, I've used ink, and on this one, there's a lot of bleed through, or you can see. So I didn't want it. That's why I was leaving things in between. Another firm favourite from this sketchbook. I love this fox so much. I love his face. I love the texture that I've managed to achieve on his coat, the colours, the variant of colours. I was really happy with this fox. It's one of my absolute favourites. There was all sorts in here. Pastel, pencil, neo pastel, neo colour, perhaps. I just love it. I've definitely got some firm favourites from this sketchbook. I decided to do a winter cottage scene on here. Loved it. I love the way the sky looks, because I thought, oh, that looks very snowy sky. A winter snowy scene. I love the winter scenes. I love the colour and like the hazy landscape in the distance. So this is when I've gone from, so they were all 2023, and then I think onwards I've put January 2024. Most of the backgrounds I did in 2023. So frogs, I did this very bright green background and I wasn't really keen on it, and I thought, what can I use that for? I'll do some frogs on it. And I really don't. I'm not keen on this frog. I don't mind this one. It's okay. But I think I just got stuck. Oh, what animal can I draw now? And I thought, oh, I'll do some frogs on this bright green background. But it's not something I think I want to do lots of. Yeah, I love these sketches. So this is my brother and sister-in-law's puppy, and he's really cute. This was a picture on my phone that I'd taken, and I was just wanting to practice. Really pleased with how that one turned out. And this is my husband and daughter. We were at Lumiere in Durham last November. Is Lumiere in November? And this was a photo of them. So this is at night, which I don't know if I fully conveyed in this sketch, but night sky, and we were walking to see some of the installations, the light installations for Lumiere, and I've just done this really quick sketch of them walking along. And yeah, I like how they turned out. These were just very quick sketches, this one in particular, and I want to get better at just getting some marks down and getting the sketches down just to convey a scene quickly, but it still look like that. Another polar bear, this time looking up. I love this little polar bear. I think I've done another one like this as well. But I always think these dark pinky backgrounds, they just remind me of the Northern Lights, and yeah, I just think about them when I see this type of colour on the background. And then we've got another polar bear again looking over. This sort of could have been two different drawings really. I quite like this in isolation. This really, it doesn't sort of, it just looks a bit disjointed, but I love the polar bear, the look on his face. We've got another pink winter landscape scene with the moon just rising up, and a lot of foliage in the front, like bracken, hedgerow. This was a photo in my to draw album. I think I've said this before, I have a to draw album on my phone where if I take photos, etc., and I'm really inspired by them, I think, oh, I'd like to draw that scene at some point, I just dump them in the album. And then when I'm looking for things to sketch or paint or draw, etc., I'll have a little look through there to see if there's anything that I want to do. And this was one that I'd taken, and it was just obviously when we've had quite a lot of snow, It's just looking out across some fields, etc., with a pylon and lots of trees, etc. I do really like that. I do like again, that was just a very quick drawing, well, a sketch using Posca pens. Is this white on here, and adding bits on. And an owl. I'm not really as keen on this owl as I am my multi-page spread of owls. Again, I was just looking for something to draw, but I don't know, I think it's the colour, even though it's very similar to the colour of the owl I was drawing. When I pick these drawings, they reference from Pexels. You can get copyright free photos on Pexels to have a look at. So again, some different birds here, a robin and some sort of, it could be a blue tit or a grey tit bird on a bird feeder. I quite like that. I didn't have this on initially, this ink wash behind. I'd just done it on this background, and when I looked at it, I thought, oh, there's a bit missing in the photo. Obviously, the background was really blurred out because they'd focused in on the birds on the photo, and the background was just blurry trees or whatever. I added this wash of diamine ink. I think it was diamine salamander ink, and I really like how that turned out. I was doing a lot of sketching here with the Liquitex raw umber marker. Same here as well. I used the Liquitex raw umber marker to outline this bird, which I think was a wren, some sort of wren. And it's quite funny because the picture for this, the bird looks very grumpy, which I don't think I've fully conveyed, but I do like the colour and everything I've managed to get for the bird. But I really quite like this Liquitex raw umber marker. So next up, I think these are on my Instagram. Oh, that's slightly stuck on there. And I love the fox. I love them both. I loved the fox from the get-go. When I did the fox, I thought, oh, I really love it. I really love its face. It's quite illustrative. I love this at the bottom. And then I did this hair, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I like it. But the more I worked on it, and did a little bit of work on its face, I actually really like it. It does have a very shocked, surprised look on its face, which is quite similar to the photo that I used. But initially I was like, oh no, that just doesn't look great. But I actually really love it now. I love the texture. I love these bits that I've added on here. I do love its surprised look on its face. So it's interesting how initially you can be very much like, oh no, this sketch is just horrendous, or this just doesn't look anything like I want it to look like, and why am I having a really bad drawing day, etc. But sometimes you can't turn that around, and sometimes it is just a bad drawing experience, and then other times you can pull it back into something that you then go on to think, actually, I really love that now. So it's things to think about, isn't it? And more rabbits or hares. I think these are rabbits rather than hares. But yeah, again, I love the angle of this one and its face. And I like the face of this here. Not so keen on this much here. These two robins I'm not keen on. That one's not too bad. I don't know. They're not as... When I'm judging them, I'm looking at against the other robins that I've done, and yeah, I'm not as keen on them. There's room for improvement with those ones. This is one that I think I want to build on this idea. It's just a little robin in a tree with a moon and, you know, a nice winter, quite a large tree focusing on, but, you know, the little robin for detail. And yeah, I think I want to build on that. So this is the one that's in the last video that I've done. It's my friend's cat. Just getting some quick marks down. I would definitely change the materials that I used for the cat if I was to do this one again. I think I might do it again because I like the cat looking out of the window into the garden. I asked my friend if it was alright to draw this and she said it was, so I think I'll definitely do it again, but using different material. And then this one was in the last video that I've done as well. I've talked about this, and yeah, I love this one here. This one, there's definitely room for improvement on its face, and I do like this one's face, but I talk about this in the video that this is definitely where I was having a, oh no, this is not going very well at all. How can I pull this back? Kind of pulled it back on some, but not all. And it's just one of those where it didn't really fully go to plan. But I think with this one in particular, and this one here, I managed to pull back it enough for me to like it and take elements from it to learn from. So, which is always good. I think it's important to learn, to look and learn. I don't mind this one. The robin definitely needs work, and it kind of works with the reference photo that I was using, but it's not one of my favourites. For these that I did in the video for you, which that is using the Liquitex marker as the outline. I just prefer that to the Inktense sticks, and I've already done a video on this one, so yeah, I love those. Definite favourites. And the rest in the back is all swatches. So lots of favourites in this sketchbook, and yeah, I can't wait to do more and move on to another sketchbook. I've got one here. This one's white. We'll see how long the cover stays white, because I don't think it will. But hopefully I'm going to do a couple of videos. We'll see how many videos on jelly printing and go from there. Talk about textured backgrounds, etc. I might do a timed drawing video as well. That might be something interesting to do. Or we could do a draw along, pick some reference photos, and if you wanted to do a draw along yourself, you could do that. We will see. Enough of my rambling. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you've got any favourites from just the sketches that I've shown you, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.